My name's Chris Allen. I'm the superintendent of schools with the Midway Independent School District, and what I hold in my hand right now is a draft of what we expect to be the Senate Committee substitute for House Bill 2. That's the Public School Finance Bill. And I need to talk to you about it so that you understand what's at stake. They will tout it as the largest increase in funding for public school education in our state's history, and technically, that is not an inaccurate statement. It looks at putting billions of dollars into education. However, I think that the details here matter a lot. They're contemplating teacher compensation that would increase our teacher pay, but they're defining teachers as classroom teachers only. So that leaves out buses, nurses, bus drivers, nurses, librarians, teacher aides, and all the other folks that it takes to operate a school district. They're putting in a tremendous amount of money for teacher preparation and certification. Again, these are good ideas, but it does nothing to solve the problems with schools today. It does nothing to provide the services that your students need today. We need prepared teachers. In fact, if they had funded schools appropriately over the last 5 years, we wouldn't be in the pickle we're in now. And so they're trying to put the genie back in the bottle with $270 million. There's a bunch of money in here for special education. Again, a good idea. And we'll need to see more details exactly how that affects us, but I applaud the thinking anyway. Additional dollars for early learning, for CTE. They have money in here to increase safety allotment. It's about $500 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but you spread that across more than 1,000 school districts and 5.5 million students, it's really not. Here's the part I want to draw your attention to. This Senate Committee substitute for House Bill 2, Public School Finance, only increases the basic allotment by $55. To put that in perspective for you, that's a little bit like your house being on fire. The fire department showing up with a 12-ounce cup of water, throwing it at your house and saying, see, look how much good we've done. That's what $55 increase to the basic allotment is like. Now, with all the money that they're putting into pub ed, one might wonder why I'm so concerned about an increase of only $55 to the basic allotment. I'll tell you why. This provides money to about 40% or less of our staff. It provides money to teacher prep programs, which doesn't really help public schools right here today. Does stuff for SPED, God knows we need that. Helps early learning, we need that. Does some work for CTE. But the basic allotment is what we use to do things like pay for fuel for buses. It's what we use to pay for property and casualty insurance. It's the money we use to fund programs like fine arts, athletics, GT, and all the things that make public schools special. And so what they have done is they've put money into everything except for the things that matter to your children the most. I say that with some reservation. The $1.3 billion towards special education, I can't speak enough to how much of a godly and righteous thing I think that is. But most of the rest of it's a shell game to make sure that they are buying teacher votes with a historic increase in teacher pay raise, and then everything else is a matter of just limping them along and not providing money for the things that you want most for your children, and that what your children want most out of the school experience. I would just ask you to take a moment and think about the most memorable moments and experiences that you had when you were in school. Great, great memories of times in choir departments and on the field with the marching band. Beautiful memories created as part of a softball team, baseball team, as part of a debate club. Things that you accomplished as part of your experience with the GT program that inspired your heart to prepare you for the profession of the career that you're in today. These are the very things that are currently in jeopardy. If this bill passes as is, we're going to have a budget deficit in Midway ISD that will absolutely cause significant personnel reductions, and those significant personnel reductions will lead to program cuts. There is a solution to this, and the state has the money. They're just choosing to manipulate it in a way to elevate their political priorities at the expense of your children. If you care about this, you got to call somebody, and I mean today. We anticipate this coming for a vote on Thursday. It is right now Wednesday morning, May the 14th, and you have to call and you have to email and you have to write, and this has to be senators. It has to be Birdwell here in the greater McClendon County area. It has to be Creighton, who's in charge of the K-16 committee at the Senate level. It has to be Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. It has to be Governor Abbott. I'm asking for you to make sure those folks know exactly what you want for your public schools, and then demand it fairly but firmly. And you let them know that, hey, decisions have consequences. I am a steward of other people's money and other people's children. I work for a board of trustees that's elected to try and do the best we can for you. And what I'm telling you is that if this passes as is, the likelihood that you're going to see the same level of excellence that you've seen is it's not realistic. We'll do the best we can. I don't want to sound defeated. We're not going to give up. We're going to fight for your kids every day like we've been doing the last 5 years while we've been in this budget drought created by the state of Texas. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. If you have any questions, I want you to feel free to reach out to my office. I want you to feel free to reach out to your senators, to other people. Don't take my word for it. Call other superintendents, call other school leaders. But just be aware in advance of the double talk that's getting ready to come about all this money and about all the good it's going to do. It'll do some good. It'll do a kind of good. I don't see a path forward for the good that you want for your kids. So if this motivates you to do something, I need you to do it. That's Birdwell, Creighton, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and Governor Abbott.